An elderly local Marine who served the country he loved in Korea dies waiting on that very same country to keep its promise to him. Unfortunately, it's not an uncommon story. Channel 7's Janelle Lilley explains how many veterans go from fighting enemies of the U.S. to fighting the bureaucracy of the VA. She joins us now. Janelle.
Beth, Mary Lou and Robert DeSico met a few months after he returned from the Korean War. That young couple loved their country, the Marine Corps, and each other. More than 60 years later, Robert in a wheelchair and the housework too much for Mary Lou. They moved into an assisted living facility and straight into some red tape at the Department of Veterans Affairs.
He's got his sign over there on the wall that says, "Once a Marine, always a Marine," and we both feel that way. No matter what has happened, we still love the Marine Corps.
Mary Lou met Robert DeSico while both were serving in the Marine Corps. He had just returned from the Korean War, where he fought near what is now the border between North and South Korea. He was stationed at Camp Lejeune, and so was Mary Lou.
He told his cousin he wanted to meet a woman Marine, so his cousin happened to be dating a good friend of mine, a Southern girl from Alabama.
The two met, married, and had 3 kids, 2 who later served in the National Guard. They also have grandkids who joined the military. A full life filled with joy, but as is inevitable, time took its toll.
It got to where I couldn't take care of him. He was in rehab in the Veterans Hospital for quite a while, and then I couldn't take care of him and the housework and all that. And so we decided we needed to move in here.
3 months before, in May, the DeSico's son had submitted paperwork to the VA so his parents could receive what's known as aid in attendance. It's a benefit that helps vets who need assisted care. Kim Mosley's the regional director at the Four Seasons Assisted Living Facility. She agreed to take the couple in, believing the money would come later that month, at the end of August.
I think the VA had told him 90 days, something like that.
But it didn't. Day after day, month after month, phone call after phone call. Robert began to worry that the country he promised to protect wouldn't keep its promise to him. Almost every day, he rolled his wheelchair down to Kim's office to check.
How much is my tab today? Yeah, it was hard.
Their son, Stephen, tried to track down the problem.
You cannot get updates from these people at the VA. I have a list of 800 numbers that I've called. I don't know how many states. It seems like no one's computer is hooked to anyone else's computer.
He called congressmen, senators, anyone he could think of. Meanwhile, the bill had ballooned to $40,000.
That's all he talked about, wondering why they wouldn't pay us and help us pay this. These people here were being so patient with us.
Kim says she couldn't bear to kick them out. She and the staff loved the couple. She reassured the owner that the bill would be paid somehow.
Telling him it's going to come, it's going to come. And then finally their little house. They sold their house and to pay their bill.
The DeSicos sold their family home in Benton at a loss, hoping the VA would reimburse them someday.
It was hard to get by.
Eventually, Steve learned because his dad had lied about his age to go fight in Korea, the birth certificate didn't match his record. It had been corrected decades ago in the health system, but the benefit system needed its own correction, and the birth certificate they already had wasn't enough. They needed a new copy and new forms.
I'll fill out a DD-149 form, send us another copy of his birth certificate. And I said, okay. I said, how long does that take? 3 months. To change one digit, 3 months from 1930 to 1932.
Another delay, more problems with paperwork. The story frustrating but all too common. Just in 2018, Senator John Bozeman's office has fielded 483 pleas for help from Arkansans frustrated with the VA. Last week, the senator was appointed chairman of a subcommittee on VA appropriations, now holding the purse strings of an agency that he describes as broken.
It takes too long, and as you've discovered in your reporting, people get bound up in bureaucracies that simply there's no excuse for.
The senator's own father also had lied about his age in order to serve. He says the system is impossible for many older vets to navigate without help. Steve agrees his 85-year-old Marine father was no match for the red tape.
I can't imagine how many people have passed away or gave up on this maze of red tape that you have to go through.
They don't tell you who to turn to for help. They're just left dangling there.
Robert didn't live to see his country keep its promise. He died on March 2nd. 10 days later, the DeSicos got this approval letter and a payment. And now the process begins again. Because Robert died, the VA took back that payment and is now processing a new one with Mary Lou as the primary veteran beneficiary. Beth.
Unbelievable and frustrating. This is a widespread issue. Certainly. What can be done about it?
Well, in a statement, the VA said clearly we could have done better for Mr. and Mrs. DeSico and that the department was reviewing its procedures. Senator Bozeman told me that he will be looking at how the committee can provide resources to bring the VA system, quote, into this century. He believes the support on this is bipartisan.
Okay, hopefully he can get that done. Thanks a lot, Janelle, for that story.